Good morning, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 1374 Prairie Clover Avenue Northeast here in Kaiser. Located at the front of the house. I describe everything as if you're standing out in the street facing the front door. We are to the left of the front door, just out in the bark dust here. If you lose track of this clean out, it's not perfectly lined up with it, but it almost sits dead straight out from that outlet right there. It's offset to the left of it by maybe 6 inches. And you're about 16 inches off the patio here in the bark dust. It's a clean out that's flush enough to the ground. I could easily see that getting buried. Anyway, dropping into 3-inch ABS. Sorry if I'm repeating myself. We're checking the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water's running. Ooh, line swaps over to 3034 right out of the gate. That's a rare thing to see. That's not a bad thing, that's a good thing. You usually don't see green PVC until you start getting out to the right-of-way and into the road. It's a very strong pipe, and typically, and it's more expensive pipe too because of that. So they often only utilize this stuff when you absolutely need to. This pipe right here is strong enough. I was just at a job the other day. This tells you anything. For a repair guy. And I asked him what he thought of 3034 relative to a different pipe material and how strong he thought it was. He handed me a sledgehammer and challenged me to see if I could break the pipe. The sledgehammer came back and almost hit me in the face. That's how strong the stuff is. It's crazy strong. Sledgehammer bounced right off of it. And I've seen this stuff where they've installed it over the top of like a sharp rock. As long as it happens kind of on a slower end, I've seen this stuff deform to the point where it looks like you stuck your thumb through the bottom of the pipe, like a 2-inch indentation into the pipe, and the plastic still doesn't break. It's an awesome pipe material. Alright, right here, this looks like we've probably hit the main. We might be wiring in at the side of the property though. I'm going to go locate and verify where we are here real quick, and then we'll, as long as we're out at the main lateral connection, we'll start reeling back in here in just a moment. And so far, line's looking great. Alrighty, we are indeed at the main lateral. Line terminates out in the street. In fact, where it terminates is pretty darn close to in line with where the cleanout's at. The line does meander around a bit, but by the time it hits the main, it's lined up pretty nicely with the cleanout. So this stuff you see in the flow line right here is an example of some grease buildup. In fact, it's some grease with some paper product stuck in it. Most of the line here is quite clean. I mostly point that out for educational purposes. If you dump a lot of cooking oil and grease down the line, especially when you're really talking quantity, like a pan full of grease, that's where it really gets you, because it'll harden up when you put big quantity down the line. But it's just a good habit to keep up on. Try to eliminate as much of it from going down the line as possible. Because what you end up with, if you look closely, what you have there is grease, but also a toilet paper products or paper products in general that get stuck in it. And that's kind of what happens. You just get buildup of layers and layers of grease and paper towels, wipes, toilet paper, whatever goes down line. But especially improper items. It makes your line a lot less forgiving when the line does get abused, which happens much more frequently than most people like to admit. But anyway, especially helpful when you have kids in the house that are still wadding their toilet paper up the sides of a football when they flush it. It makes it much more likely those balled up toilet paper blockages will break loose naturally on their own, rather than get stuck and turn into an actual sewer event. So anyway, most of this line is quite a clean sewer line. That big chunk of it out there is probably a circumstance where someone dumped a lot of it down the line at one time. Anyway, the line's not in need of cleaning. It's pretty sparse. So right now we're going backwards. We just went through the foundation wall there. A little bit more grease on the inside here, but it's not at a point where I'd recommend cleaning. It would be nice to clean it out, but it's not severe. Where it's at right now, it's not the kind of stuff that would ever cause blockages on its own. You'd have to be flushing something down the line that would basically already block the sewer line. It would just make it more stubborn. Overall, though, most of the line here is actually very clean relative to most homes. So good flow all the way to the main, all the pipe we just scoped there, and everything from where I stopped and on is all exposed piping in the crawl space. I focus on the stuff that's buried underground. Great looking line. Good flow end to end. Nothing about this line I could structurally nitpick at all. Flows beautifully. Line is functioning properly at this time. And I haven't located every inch of this. my little diagram will be oversimplified. It basically zigs and zags and crosses the curb fairly close to where that for sale signpost is, in that general area there.